Alright YouTube, 116 Falconer. Today we're going to try to fix the tilt steering on this Cub Cadet GT2100. The steering here. See how this tilt steering just goes? He had it to the shop there. They supposedly fixed it, but this is what you get right here, man. Doesn't matter what you do. Alright YouTube, 116 Falconer, back at this Cub Cadet GT2100. I finally got to look at the tilt steering mechanism. Easy to get at. You just take the steering wheel off, which you take this cover off here, which is just these tabs here. You push them in and this pops out. Then you have a 13mm bolt right there. Just lift your steering wheel off. Then this cover here that goes on here, alright, you just loosen up them 10mm bolts, tilt the steering all the way forward like that, and then that just lifts right out of there. So now the only thing I can see, oh yeah, so the steering broke on this when my boy had it. He hadn't had it very long. It's the first time I'm seeing this stuff. He took it to the dealer, and look how they fixed this this thing here. I mean, what a freaking ass job. Instead of putting a new one on, they freaking rigged this thing up like this. But what it is these two bolts right here. There's a space in between here and here, the tilting head, and it looks like there should be like nylon bushings in there or something, because you have about an eighth inch on either side. So I'm gonna have to do some more head scratching here. Okay, so after looking at this for a while here, you can buy this part online from Parts Tree. It's basically $80 part, this upper piece. But this awesome dealer repair job down here, you can see it broke over here, and you get flexing in this. But I don't know if that's enough to cause this. But what I'm going to do is pull this off right here, this crappy repair. See if I can get this up. See if we can fix it up a little bit. Otherwise, we're going to rip it apart, weld it up. Alright YouTube, so I took off that broken piece there, and you can see how this steering mount here is thoroughly broken. So I'm gonna have to take off this cover here and get this out, get it bent up where it belongs, weld it up, and get it back in there, and maybe that'll help, or at least I'll be closer to figuring out what I can do to stop this freaking thing from doing this shit. So what it appears to be is that back here, well, on the inside here, there's two 10mm bolts here, and the same on the other side there. It looks like them have to come out, and since the ones are already missing on the bottom, I'll get them out and then see what I gotta disconnect up in here to get this show on the road. Alright, let me get stuff set up. I'll be back in a minute. Alright YouTube, so it looks like the first thing I gotta do is take out this cotter key right there for the brake set, so I can get access to the two 10mm bolts back there. So let me pull that out. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, so with this cotter key out of there, you can disconnect the link there, and then you can pull your brake handle up and out so you can get access to them two 10mm bolts back there. So let me get them out, we'll go from there. Okay, so I got the two out from this side, and oddly enough, they're 3/8, they're not 10mm. I'm finding that most of the bolts and stuff in here are actually standard, so that's pretty bizarre. Alright, now I gotta do the other side. I'll get that out, we'll be back. Okay, YouTube, so I got the two bolts out from this side, so both sides there. Then this top would lift up, but it was catching on the tilt thingamajiggity here. So I just grabbed hold of it with a pair of pliers, pulled it off from the flange here, and then I was able to get this cowling, or whatever the hell we want to call it, back. So I think I got enough room here so I can get this piece out. I just got to take out a couple bolts, and then get the cotter pin out of the shock for the tilt steering, get the shock off, and then this unit should just come right out. So let me get at it, I'll be back. Alright, YouTube, so I got this steering wheel piece out. As you can see here, it is broke all the way around. So I'm going to have to get it down in the vise, straighten this out, get in there, weld it up. Now when you're taking these out, these shoulder bolts, alright, they're keyed, as you can see here, but they just spun in the tractor. This end's 3/4, the other end's 9/16. Then you have these brackets here. I had no idea what the hell these brackets are for, but apparently what they're for is to lock the shoulder bolt in. Because see, when they're all the way down, the bolt will spin, but then when you put them up, tighten them up, the bolt, well, it's going to be hard to do it here. Anyways, this tightens up the bolt in there, so it doesn't want to go anywhere. So make sure you loosen these 3/8 on each side. This one I took out all the way. Alright, YouTube, 116 Falconer, day 2 of Cub Cadet steering repair. This morning I broke out the old hot rod Lincoln, welded this thing up, fixed it the way it should be. Oh, I also took this cowling out, whatever the hell you call this thing here. The plugs, 2 of them, the one up on the dash there is just pull it back, pull it down. The one in the ignition, I pulled this ignition thing right out 'cause I didn't want to break anything. So the top one is the same way. You just press that in and pull it out. The one for the key switch just pulls straight down, and then your PTO also just pulls straight down, so you don't have to worry about that. Now if I disconnected the choke and throttle, I could take this right off, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, so with this being fixed up properly, now what I'm going to do is, well, find a cotter key to put in there, because the one that was in there broke, which goes on, the shock goes on there for your tilt steering. Then I went to True Value Hardware store this morning. I got me 4 nylon washers, and they fit perfectly over top of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to super glue them on the inside. I mean, just like one spot each, so that when I fit this over here, I could put the bolts through, and hopefully they won't fall off. So, all right, YouTube. So I'll show you here. I super glued these nylon washers in there, and what I did was I took the shoulder bolt, and with these locks off, I put it through and used it as a guide to make sure that these were where they're supposed to be. Now they're a little bigger depth-wise than what the actual shoulder bolts are, but that's all right, because if I would have used only one, it wouldn't have been enough. So I'm going to have to spread this apart to get it on there, but I don't care. I mean, how many times do you actually use the freaking tilt steering? And when the steering wheel goes up and down, it's a pain in the freaking ass. So, let's see if we can do this without knocking them washers off.
I'll just tell you real well. Wait, let me try to get this started on there. Although maybe since I welded it, I didn't need it. Oh well, better be safe than sorry. Freaking perfect, man. This Harbor Freight super glue, this shit freaking works, man. See, when I first opened it up and went to squeeze some on one of them washers, it went all over my fingers, and holy shit, they were almost stuck together instantaneously. If it wasn't for my cat-like reflexes, I would have been in trouble. Alright, so we got that on there. Let's try getting the shoulder bolts through. And then once they're through, oops, I gotta get them because they are keyed, even though the keying is shot. Then what I'll do once I get these through is I'll loosen these locks up and push it down, lock that, tighten it up, I mean as best I can. Look at that shibizzle. Oh, I gotta get the nuts on before I go. I'll give myself a high five. One nut. Well, I'll do one at a time. Come on. There we go. That's not started. Alright, now I gotta find the other nut. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I found the other nut. Got it on there. Lifted this up. So now what I'm gonna do, you got 3/4 and 9/16. I'm going to use the 3/4 to hold the collar bolt in place there. And I'll tighten up with the 9/16, and then I'll put that lock down. This is the easy side. The other one's going to be a freaking prick, man. Alright, that one's good. The other one did not want to start threading. Of course, these collar bolts are foobarred anyways, but I think this will work here. Do. I should have run a die on there. Because this one really is foobarred. Oh well. We'll get her threaded. like I said before, you can't trust nobody but yourself. Alright. There, the super glue broke loose. Now I'll run these supposed locks down or whatever they are, and then I'll snug it up again. Oh, not that one. 3/8. Loosen this one up a minute. Alright, let me snug the collar bolts back up. Snugged up good. Alright. Now let's hook up the damper here. Dampener, whatever the hell you want to call her. Here's my cotter key that I got from one of my Harbor Freight kits. Freaking works perfect. There we go. I mean, there's still a little play in there. I could tighten it up a little bit more, which I'm going to do. And then we'd be good to go. Do. There we go. Look at that shit. See, that's the way it should be. Can you see what I'm seeing? I don't know. Let's throw the steering wheel on there. Now once that gets tightened up there, all right, let me slap this bitch back together. And we shall see what's going on. Am I wiring up all in the right place? Yeah. Get that one up to the instrument panel. All right. I think what I might do is get the bolts in there back on first, and then I'll hook up the wiring. All right, let me slap this shit back together, and then we'll be back.
All right, so I've got it just about buttoned up here, but I'll show you. It's a lot freaking better, man. I mean, there's still some slop in there. I gotta go down and grease it up. But the up and down motion is so much better. You tilt it down, lock it in. You got a little bit of play, but it's a freaking cheap mower, so it's not like it was where it was freaking just up and down and up and down. So this is a mower that I could probably drive without getting all freaking pissed off, because it sucks when it's going up and down, man. Alright, that's it. Do it yourself, save some money. Don't trust these freaking dealerships. Because all they're going to do is do some shit ass work like was done on this. So, alright, that's it. See ya.